in our family, we are a nuclear family, and it's me and my husband and 2 children, and one of my children identify as queer. It took us a few months to understand. Initially there was shock, there was self-blame. We had, as parents, not done our duty well. We had not brought up the child in the right manner. We have to stand up for our children, because if we don't stand up for our children, nobody else will. My name is Ashish Garg, and I am the CEO and founder of Discover Tomorrow. It is a not-for-profit advocacy platform. Our mission is to educate and create awareness for all those stakeholders who impact the life of a queer child. It is a big shock when the child first comes out and tells you about their gender identity. It takes time to understand what it is, because there isn't enough information. We do not talk about it openly in India. We realized this, maybe it was in the year 2016 or so, 2016 or 2017. I think it was 2017 that we realized that the child is not a cisgender child, and it took us a few months to understand. But for us, I think the entire Indian ecosystem was changing at that time, and the decriminalization of Section 377 was just around the corner. So it was easy for us to understand the truth of queer. And also, I think by this time, a lot of resource material was available online, which was very helpful in educating oneself. Again, there are several phases of acceptance. When you first find out that your child is queer, you go into a shock, and then you try to figure out how you can fix it. And it's only much later that you realize that this is not an illness, this is not a sin, you cannot cure it, there is nothing to be fixed about it. And that's when you realize, you start to seek what is the solution for this problem. How do you make sure that you accept your child for who they are, instead of trying to create negativity around this? And I think what was very helpful for us was that we were able to talk to a lot of parents who were going through the similar kind of struggles, and learning about their journey. Some of them, their journey was even tougher than ours. And that helped us to realize that these are children who should have a perfectly normal life. This is not something that they have chosen to be, but this is who they are. These children are so full of anxiety, so traumatized by years of rejection, by years of bullying, both in school and outside, that they are only just looking for your love. And they have the capacity to do exceedingly well. So when you start to give them love and acceptance, you realize that they can actually achieve their full potential and contribute to the nation in a very big way. Social evils of dowry deaths, sati, female feticide, caste system, untouchability. We dealt with all these issues at the school level. We inculcated that in the curriculum, and we made sure that children learnt about the social evils of these. And this was a full generation of youngsters that grew up learning that these are social evils and they must be abhorred. Similarly, acceptance of LGBTQ people has to begin at the school level, because intolerance of any one kind, for any one kind of people, is reprehensible. It is only the beginning of a much more dehumanizing, widespread intolerance for people, whether it is of caste, whether it is color of the skin, whether it is your gender, whether it is your social status, whether it is your financial status, then this whole intolerance starts to creep into every facet of your life. So the first thing that we have to do is to train our children, is to teach our children that everyone is equal and we have to learn to accept and live together. That is the basis of an inclusive society. Parents will go into deep shock the minute when the child is born and you hold the baby in your arms for the first time. You do not think whether this child will be a lesbian or gay or transgender or bisexual or anything. All you do is you hold the baby in your arms and you just love the baby because it's your baby. And you want it to be healthy and you want the child to grow up well. You do not think about sexual orientation of the child. But when the child grows up and the child comes out to you saying that they are so and so, then you kind of you feel most parents react to fear. They feel nobody will accept this child, the child will not be able to get married, the child will not find a job. If the ecosystem changes and if the ecosystem is more accepting, then this fear psychosis will be removed from the parents' mind, and the parents will also. So it's actually a chicken and egg situation. So the ecosystem changes and the parents accept more quickly. The parents accept more quickly and the ecosystem changes. So it works like that. But my suggestion to parents is that do not freak out. Stop blaming the child. It is neither the child's fault nor is it your fault. Second, please educate yourself. There is enough and more material online. You can go online and you can start reading and start educating yourself. My third point is that you must stand up for your child. You must make sure that you are keeping your eyes open for changes in their behavior. As soon as you see those changes, please contact the school counselor, the school coordinator and health counselor, because these are things that are often sidelined, but they are very, very important, because as I told you, the deep impact of such things is, it's lifelong, negatively impacting the child's psyche, and you don't want to go in that manner. The problem for India is actually quite grave, because you're looking at 7 to 8% of the Indian population that now identifies as LGBTQ. And a World Bank report that came out in 2012 says that homophobia actually costs India $30.8 billion annually. And this is when they have only taken the health disparity costs and labor loss costs. They have not included education and other fields. So we are looking at almost a loss of 1.7% of India's GDP by keeping this cohort of people outside the economy. So the problem for India is actually huge, because you really need to integrate them into the economy of the country, into the social fabric of the country, and you want to make sure that they are contributing constructively to the well-being of themselves and the nation. So the approach that the country uses to create an inclusive ecosystem for them will actually decide whether the gender diverse cohort will become a demographic dividend or it will become a demographic liability. This is really in our hands, in this generation's hands, and we can actually create a flagship for what India will be tomorrow as far as diversity, equity and inclusion is concerned. It is in our hands.